Hello again. This is the Black Caliber Podcast. Distinction in its finest.
Yo, bro, why did you put that voice on? Just stop that. Don't do that.
I have to. That for the intro, you have to say Black Caliber, like the Black Caliber Podcast. Distinction.
We just had a 30-minute conversation.
Never sounded like that.
I love the energy of it.
Yeah.
And who are you guys?
Okay.
I can go first. I'm Kyrah Page. I am from LA. I have siblings. I can hear myself anymore, actually. Am I supposed to?
You hear yourself now?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. My name is Charity. I'm from LA. I'm a Leo. I work at Wieden and Kennedy.
You take long walks on the beach.
I take long walks on the beach. I love the sunset.
R&B.
R&B. See, they read the slides. I'm an empath.
Yeah. You're Persian and Black.
I'm Persian and Black. I don't need to do my intro, you guys.
I got you.
do the intro for me.
Kill me.
Sound like it's over.
Family.
Let's see from that.
So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
She's also the Admagic founder.
Yeah.
Yes. I am the founder of Admagic, which is an EP3 program that introduces students into creative opportunities.
And your product.
Yes, the relationship.
The relationship, right?
The relationship.
Also, what, 30 under 30?
Also starting under 30, HGC Buzz.
Let's go. We could go through the whole thing. You can always.
We're chilling right there.
What's up? What's up, LU? What's up, gang? I'm JP, John Petty III. Lincoln University, class of 2009. Very proud of that. Also product of Epsilon Chapter, Epsilon South China Incorporated, spring 2008. I am also the Executive Creative Director at Wieden and Kennedy, and also founder of 14th and Market. Well, we didn't show 14th and Market enough about that. 14th and Market is a creative services group that my wife and I founded to help young creatives understand the industry and also like help the block meet the boardroom a little bit with storytelling. So very proud of that. And then avid supporter of Admagic. As a HBCU product and advocate of more Black people in the room. I'm riding with Admagic till the wheels fall off.
Okay, well, what were you saying earlier in the meeting? You're the first Black?
Oh yeah, all right, yeah. So yes, I am the youngest and first Black Executive Creative Director of Wieden and Kennedy, which is a tremendous honor. And
We're in the room where it happens.
Yeah, we're in the room where it happens. And the cool part about that role is you get to get more influence about how the room is shaped on both sides of the business, internally and externally. You get to influence like who we work with, and I get to influence how we work with them. So I don't take that role lightly. And most importantly, I'm doing it for that news to get old really quickly. The objective is for me not to be able to like say that with so much pride. Like really soon I want to be like, yes, y'all was the first, but then this happened, you know. I'm very, very much looking forward to that.
You're going to put on?
Hell yeah. That's my philosophy. Yo, thank you. You're kind of killing this shit. So get on, put on is like a philosophy of mine, a personal philosophy. I really believe in. Well, I should start by saying I'm the oldest of four. And so from the very beginning, I was taught to like always hold the door open, not let it slam in my brother's face. Or Jabir just slammed that one. And also like I said, I'm a member of a fraternity. And that's inherently true about the fraternity, but I take that into my professional role as well. Super important for me to not just like reap the benefits of my skill set or my expertise, but to use them and to create new opportunity for like the next. So if I'm really good at something, I'm never going to just cuff it for like some insecurity or like some value proposition in my head.
You know it shit?
No. I'm just saying, generally speaking, I'm not gonna just hold on to all of that information because it's no good if it's just in me. You know what I'm saying?
I plan on passing it. That's got you.
I ain't even saying that. You dropped this for yourself.
This is my podcast.
It's your podcast. Okay. We'll get into that later. But y'all, honestly, get on, put on though. Y'all, like, it's a personal philosophy, but it's also what I use as a filter to like understand or identify like the opportunities that I want to pursue. If I can't get on and put on, then I'm probably not going to do it. You know?
Intro was crazy.
Yo, thank you, bro. Yo, Jordan set me up crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he bodied it.
I'm sure you're gonna get. He's gonna just be.
I'm Chris Martin, graduate of North Carolina A&T, class of 2010. I'm also a member of the Greatest Fraternity of Played 2010 as well, out for the chapter specifically. General manager of Bodega, out of our New York office in Wieden and Kennedy. Bodega is what? Social first creative studio that we have. We represent clients like McDonald's, Duracell, Delta, of course Nike. The list goes on. But I think the most important thing for us is we're just challenging the way that people and brands see social. People first. Also, 14th Market as well. Yes. I'm not sure what title it is.
Yo, bro, honcho, bro. You running that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing. Yo, I know. I'm sorry, we'll do better. It's been a really long day. I'm sorry, but no, honestly, this tour I'm sitting next to, I don't mean to stop all over your intro, but like, yo, I'm so, like, Charity and Chris, you know, we work at Wieden and Kennedy together. They're helping to build 14th and Market together. This is like definitely deeper than like just sharing email addresses.
It's family business.
Yeah, we definitely we support each other and kind of move like the mafia a little bit in like our decision making and the beliefs we want to run and the relationships we want to help to cultivate and the spaces we want to help create for people like us, people who look like us, come from where we come from, have spent time in the places we spend time in, and then also have like perspectives that challenge our worldviews as well, to help make us more well-rounded individuals or more rounded like contributors to society. So honestly, we keep each other honest in that way. All of this trio is trying to do right now is scale that influence and impact as well, which is why we're even spending an entire day at Lincoln University today, which is the very first illustrious Lincoln.
I said that to you this time.
Thank you, bro. Somebody tell Cheney.
Well, I don't know why you even said that.
Yeah, that's good. Cut that out. Yeah, let's cut that out. We love you.
There we go. Okay. It's fine. So, y'all, I don't believe I heard. Where are you guys from? Where did y'all grow up?
I grew up in LA.
You got LA.
City of Angels.
That's why I was going to say for that.
Okay.
You don't know nothing about LA?
I mean, I know about it, but I'm not from
I can tell you all the great things about LA. I mean, what else is there? I mean, it's always sunny. There's palm trees, food. The vibes are high.
But we know that
the weather doesn't change. So,
but what was it like growing up as a Black and Persian woman in LA?
Excellent. I grew up in a Black community. I live in a Black neighborhood. I live in Ladera. I went to school.
You went to school, I hope so.
Let me finish my sentence.
Energy.
I went to high school at Bishop Montgomery, and so I ran track there. I had a great time. It's a very diverse school. But yeah, I mean, I'm through and through from LA. When I left LA, I went to Hampton. So the first time I really left, I went to Virginia, all the way across.
Okay. So, what did you run track?
I love the 1 and the 2. My coach had me running hurdles, so.
Okay.
It's pretty fitting that you're working on that. I didn't know you were a runner.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a track star.
So you got to learn things on it?
Yeah.
That's the photo that's
that
in the
explains
pot.
a lot, though. Yeah, you
That's
know
the
what?
photo that's in the
That
pot.
is true. But you know why? You can't just look at like photos and believe them to be true. It's like the internet.
I don't remember.
You can't get that right.
You know, like it's like the internet. Yeah, because we have amazing. So Wieden is full of amazing creative talent, and Charity does have a picture in her working area in the office with her engaging in track and field activities.
Yes.
But like, because it's such a creative circus at Wieden, somebody could have easily like photoshopped that. Somebody could have easily like fabricated this whole thing as a joke or something. So you can't really like, my God, where did you get that Wieden and Kennedy pencil from, bro?
In his couch.
This is fire.
In his couch.
I've never seen.
What? It's her body,
The merch
Chris.
is crazy.
Oh my God! Wait, I didn't even know we. That's
You
crazy.
didn't see stuff on there.
No, I never saw a Wieden and Kennedy pencil, bro. Like, I don't even have one of these.
Bless on the podcast.
Yo, that's crazy. The work comes first. Okay, so my point is at Wieden, it's like you can't just walk around and be like, oh, that's real, that's real. The whole place is about like making up ideas. Like, we can't just assume.
It's a real photo. Yes, I ran track.
Okay.
Everybody who works at Nike has a photo of them in some type of sport. So mine's up there for track.
You grew up?
I grew up in Southwest Philadelphia, which is not Ladera. Not always sunny, but
At least it wasn't.
at least it was in North Philly. Thank you for that. For those who don't know,
Always hate to
my
Philly.
wife is from North Philadelphia. I went to high school in North Philadelphia. I went to MS, Engineering and Science. Probably one of the best high schools in the city. And then out of there, I came to Lincoln. I have a funny story about that. When I was in 11th grade, they took me on a trip to Florida A&M. I was down in Tallahassee for homecoming, and
That does not sound like a smart.
it was over. I was going to be a rapper. And I spent like
Sounds lit.
3 hours before I made that decision in my mind. I was like, oh no, this is Wakanda. This is what it feels like. And then I came home and I was like all in. I had the like bright orange and green lanyard. I was rocking that shit all senior year until my homies came to Lincoln University for open house. My dad made me come. We filled out an application on site. Like 3 weeks later, probably like 7 weeks before I graduated, Lincoln hit me with a full scholarship.
They don't even get those out though.
That's crazy.
They don't.
We should talk about that. But like, that changed my life because I was going to Florida A&M. I had already been accepted. I got a little bit of money from Florida A&M, but because I was an out-of-state student, I was living in Pennsylvania.
What was your GPA?
In high school, stupid. My GPA was nearly flawless. I was super active. I'm asking my high school GPA. I wasn't remember it, but I'll say this.
3.8.
There's not a 3.87. Yeah, let's go with that. And then I did really well on SATs. But my mom is an educator though. She didn't play that shit. Or she didn't play that. We were really academic in my household, except my brother. I'm right out the bus. That's for you, Reese. But so we were thorough about that and didn't play around with the school thing. So I got into like every school. At one point, I was like really excited about my Georgetown admission. I was really excited about Florida A&M. I was definitely over there. Most of them were on the East Coast. Maybe there were a few West Coast that I wasn't really going to entertain. But when I got Lincoln and they did the full stuff, and obviously all the other ones, like Morehouse, I got into, and it felt like It felt like an honor and privilege to get admitted there. But Lincoln, my mom was like, "Well, you're going where the money is," and I didn't really have a choice at that time. So it was heartbreaking because like all I knew was the homecoming vibe of the Rattlers, and I just had to come to terms with the fact that I wasn't going down there. But then when I came to Lincoln, though, game changing. Because one, it was far enough away from home. It was an hour away from home, but I felt still accessible. Fun fact, not so fun, but my parents got divorced my junior year or two. And as the oldest of four, I felt like relatively responsible for the household. So part of me didn't even really want to go too far, right? But I didn't want to be in the crib. So Lincoln was like a sweet spot. And then when I got here, it felt like a family. Like it was really cool. I had like people that were familiar, close, so good transition.
It feels like it's a family here. Like maybe because there's not like a city right outside of you, and there's not like the outdoor housing and all that, but it definitely feels like that.
Yeah, it's always that. Should we keep going?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
You probably how many schools?
I probably applied to like 10 schools. Maybe like, I remember narrowing it down, like working with my high school counselor. Her name was Carmen Jones. She helped me narrow it down because ENF just took a lot of pride in conversion, as most high schools do, but especially like the magnet schools in Philadelphia, the publicly funded magnet schools in Philadelphia. It's all about how many kids can get to college and what's your hit rate gonna be. So she was working with like a few of the, I guess the more promising students to really get like a sharp case study, probably for herself, but like 10 schools, and they were all heaters. Oh man, like I can't remember them all. And there were a few like not throwaways, I'm sorry. There were a few that I was absolutely not going to. But the school had like some individuals that were just going to have. Lincoln though was like not one of them. And they were a little late to the draw, but when I got here it was over.
I only applied it.
For real.
No backup, none of that.
Nah. So I'm from Bronx.
I feel like
That's
that's so on brand for you. Like,
Yeah, that is on
it's
brand.
like so on brand.
Only going to.
I'm only going to the city.
It's almost like what they do with
You see-
science. It's like one system.
It's one.
You do give up that confidence. Like I was getting.
That wasn't
That's called arrogance. Chris is
that was
that.
understandable. So I grew up in Jerome Avenue in Bronx.
Mhm.
There was a house. It was me, my mother, my granny, a couple of cousins up the block, aunts, all of that, all in one specific spot. So family's really important, which is why I moved. How I moved. My parents didn't go to college, though. So college was always like that was something that I wanted to do, just to change the environment, change what you see on a daily basis. And I ended up at A&T by accident, which is fun. My mother.
Wait, was it a visit? It was a visit.
It was before we got there. So
Okay.
my mother's friend at the time, was her best friend. She went to A&T, and we were talking about college. I was bullshit by the person.
You can.
I was.
No, it's not about you.
He said I'm
Okay.
So I didn't know I wanted to go to school. Howard was, of course, everybody knows Howard is. Hampton was on the list. Maryland was on the list. Think so? Nah.
Baltimore's
Nah.
stupid.
Maryland was not. It's not fine. Hampton had too many rules. So, when you're going through the application process, it's saying, and I was going in as a business major at that time. Maybe you had to wear suits every day for the first year, something like that. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, but not even that. Like, I don't like being told to wear suits. Like, that's.
I think every year you gotta wear.
That's kind of like how when I stumbled into advertising, I was like, oh, I can do this and like wear whatever. Yeah, it's right. So my mother's friend asked me to visit just off of the sugar relationship. She was like, yo, just do me a favor, just go check it out before you check out any other school or just add it to your list. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I ended up going to A&T, and as soon as I stepped on campus, I met we called an acting bachelor, I think it's name, but it's basically somebody who told you about. So we step on campus, there's CAF, which you're looking right in front of, there's Curtis Hall to my left, which is the last year of my freshman year, it's kind of like jail. And there's a housing board over there, like if you look up.
So it was the best dorm.
Flats.
The worst dorms are the best dorms. At least
the best dorms were the suites at the time. But you look up north, you see like the Fox and everything like that. So and if you go to homecoming, that's actually where all of the action is.
Yeah.
So I came during the summer, a lot of people was out, and I've never seen that like that. Like I've never seen black people move like that, look like that in mass. You know what I'm saying? It's like confident. And I was like, all right, so this is it. So we walked around. Yeah, but I have family. My mother's family is originally from Carolina, so it's familiar. And before I hit any other spot, like went to the journalism department, I was like, this is cool. To the business department, and that was mind blowing. And then we had a symposium.
Yo, can I ask what was mind blowing about the business department?
Just the way they look, and seeing just a bunch of black people just walking around. Like, on this shit.
Yeah.
Like that to me, that was, you know what I mean? Because like,
That's cool.
being so many different types of black people.
Yeah, that's the key,
Like,
right?
that's really crazy.
Because you come from the Bronx, but there's a profile.
But there's also a diverse space. So like, the Bronx is heavily Italian, Spanish. I have people in my family who are Dominican, Cuban, all the way down the line. So like, I'm used to diversity in that space. But seeing black people, black women who look like you and are moving towards the same mission as you.
Yeah.
But they're like, you look a little bit different, like the articulation of that is different. It's crazy.
Anyway.
At all. And I think my acting basket at the time was California. So that was kind of crazy too. It's like, okay, somebody from Cali came in, this is cool. There's a lot of New York presence. There was a very B&B presence. A lot of people from DC ended up there. I think that was a cheat code actually. Because if I'm not mistaken, people from DC get to Athens State tuition anywhere they go for them.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know if that's still a thing, but
That's true. That's true, they do.
so a lot of my friends from there. But yeah, that's how I do it.
Yo, that's such a fire.
So I actually had other applications.
But you scrapped them all?
Scrapped them all.
And so, can I ask you something? Like, what happens if you don't get in the ANC? Like, what can
My
you do?
job,
I don't know. If I don't get in the ANC, I would have figured it out.
You would have just went back. You would have just been like, I'm not leaving. I go here now.
I go here.
I was always a smart dude. I always knew that like the North Star was something.
Yeah.
But like not having a reference point, which is kind of like why Admagic is important.
Yes.
What we do on a day-to-day basis is important. Was pivotal for me. But fun fact, I learned this last year. My uncle actually went to ANC for a week.
Oh, okay.
Two of my uncles actually. One went to ANC for a week.
what did you
ANC is also a party. So it's
But
So-
a week.
Wait, what you mean? So they say.
So they say.
What is it? Is it great fish?
As we board for homecoming.
Yeah,
Actually, boys were
on this way right
on
there.
my way to homecoming now. We stopped here. You know, we got
Good stop. Good stop.
very, very early flight.
Yeah.
And back to New York.
Okay.
Well worth it though.
Yeah.
And then my other uncle, who was actually my uncle Brad, he lives in Maryland. He was actually one of the people who did do something different. He went to the military first. Ended up owning a radio station and bought our house in New York where we stayed. He went to ANC for a year and then got drafted. So that was interesting because I didn't know that going to. So it's kind of like a full circle moment of how I have to stand to end up somewhere and then you find out it runs in the thing. It's kind of crazy.
Well, I'm glad you fit.
Of course.
I didn't know
Maybe
anyone
it's-
was at HBCU.
I had no choice.
No one know.
No one. No one was going to HBCU.
How did you get exposed to him?
Are there any HBCUs in LA?
No,
No, absolutely.
no. UC schools, that's what they're taking there. UCLA, SC, Riverside. But they have a Black College Expo in LA where you just bring a packet, you bring like 10 packets and it has all your stuff, your medical rec, your transcript.
Oh, wow.
And then it's every HBCU there, then you just get accepted on the spot. And then, so you just go around booth to booth, collecting acceptances.
Sounds easy.
No, you prep for it. You
Yeah,
prep for it. But I did only do Hampton. But everything fell into place for me. Like, one of my homegirls was like, oh, I'm going there for tennis. We can live together. I was like, oh, okay. I had a roommate. And then, but it was a lot of family convincing. They were like, you're not going to Virginia. What are you talking about?
Yeah, wow.
I was like, oh, I'm leaving LA. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's like.
Yeah, I'm out of here. And then I went for high school day. And it was done.
Mm.
But it was the same vibe too. I was like, I had just never been around Black people from the East Coast to South like that ever.
Mhm.
I was like, everything was different. And I was like, they were looking at me like everything about you was different.
Yeah. That's so dope, man. It's so crazy how like HBCUs can create a culture like that. That's like so magnetic, you know. Like,
Yeah.
and then it's wild too because like HBCUs are not like new concepts. These are really, really old institutions with a lot of history, and somehow they stay fresh, and like the people reinvent the culture, but it still has that like gravitational pull. It doesn't matter. Like I have a new nephew who I just met, and he's probably going to be attracted to an HBCU. It's like the likelihood of that is high. And we 18 years out from that, which is crazy. And so like when I think about that, I get really proud, but I was also like super fascinated. So Like, how the hell, like, from LA, but there.
But I mean, it's interesting because like you're in this like incubator of everyone who's driving towards the same goals. You're the same age, you're from all different walks of life.
Yeah, right.
But you're all like, oh yeah, I gotta go do a paper. You're like, damn,
right,
so do I.
Me too. Same.
I guess we'll go do that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, when you're at home, everyone's just like, oh, I work, or I do this, so you're not all on the same page. And then, I definitely grew up away from LA, always there.
Yeah, I feel that.
So how do you feel like y'all HBC experience prepared you? Or the world that y'all work in now?
That's a great question.
So going to Lincoln University is crazy. And I've been thinking a lot about this. Like, you walk onto this yard, there's so much expectation, there's so much history. With being the first HBCU, we were talking about it before. Like, 1854, 4 out of our 5 fraternities are single letter chapters, which means they're like very old and very established. And it's just like foundation, and it's like so much history, man. Like, Thurgood Marshall, Langston Hughes, like Albert Einstein taught me. Like,
oh, they never told me that.
There's like tangible evidence of this. But like so you walk onto this yard, and you kind of feel that expectation. You kind of feel it. You're surrounded by history, and so you feel like you have to deliver, or you feel like the system kind of presses it, but you could also fall through the cracks because sometimes that expectation will crush you. And life is no different than that. Like right now, we work at Wieden and Kennedy, which is a 40-year-old agency. This last year, we've lost both of our founders. And it's been like a transformational year, but like there's so much legacy in this agency. It feels like walking onto Lincoln University's campus again, because you're just surrounded by like so much history and so much reverence and so much expectation. Mm-hmm. And then also, I walked into this campus at 17 years old. And so, I was like, again, finding myself in like a really young position and trying to live up to like what was around or was surrounding me. But the thing that unlocked was that this place encouraged me to be myself, and then just made me more of myself. Like pushed me into like rooms and positions and roles that I didn't even know I was going to be comfortable in or wanted. But once I found myself in those roles with those peoples as an active member of the community, then I started to learn all of the things that I'm still applying today. So like patience, which I'm still not good at, collaboration, community building, team building, et cetera, and then navigating adversity, dealing with time and all kinds of pressure and shit like that. Like, so I would say Lincoln University definitely made me who I am. It helped to make me more of who I am.
I say the same thing. I often say when I grew up, especially going in so young, like I came in 17, so I was very young to everything, right? Like, couldn't go to parties when I was young because I was young dude, looked young. So all of that was the case. But like, I think knowledge yourself is the most important thing in games. So one, being able to understand who I am as a black man, what my role is as a black man. What purpose looks like for me, what community looks like, and how to be effective in those spaces. And then from there, like you can get into tangible things. Like I polished my language aids. Like I learned how to speak to different types of people. I learned how to maneuver in different types of spaces. I learned networking. Like, and it's funny because I think when we talk to people, when we talk to students, whatever, like we're on tour now, this stuff, that stuff. One of the things that we always talk about is how some of the skills you're learning are transferable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may not look like it, but that's just because you don't know what's on the other side of the door. But if we're talking about presenting, we do that in daily business. You're talking about writing. Like, let's just say you write for the school newspaper. I'm not sure what you call it, but at A&T, it was called the A&T Register. I wrote that. So, you know, like, and if I would have known that writing was almost like a creative path professionally, maybe I would have did something different because my pen was ill at that time. It's just like, you know, you start to figure things out and whatever you like in different spaces. But even just being like free to explore was something that college provided me was very, very different. And I don't think you can get that from any of the environments that you come from, no matter where you're from, right? Because like you're coming up in an ecosystem that's very structured, most likely. You're probably eating the same thing multiple times a week. You're interacting with the same people, going to the same spaces. And going to college like challenges like everything that you thought about the world is now challenging for you because you're seeing the same people from different walks of life, different ethnicities sometimes, different like religious point of views. And you're just coming in contact with different people, but who still look like you. It's just foreign to a degree. So being able to like have empathy, develop empathy, and learn how to move with that. Also, how to not take no for an answer. You know, like we have this joke where we call the advertisement because when school starts, you gotta politic and dance with the higher grade. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta make sure stuff is together, make sure you can start class. Like it's a whole thing. But what that really teaches you is about your relationships. Like how to move around, like when you need something. But not just when you need something, but like who to go to in need, but also more so how to develop relationships. Because now, if, let's just say there's a situation going on that I actually talk to, I can counsel somebody else on that. I can make that step a little bit easier rather than having something. So, long-winded answer, but
that was great. And especially like something I said on here. I know you haven't seen the episode yet, but what I learned about.
I watch every episode, bro. I listen to every
episode.
This is great.
I've watched all 2 episodes before this, bro.
Right, but
three's a good number.
Hell yeah, I would agree.
But for me, it was like what I realized when I really got here. Everybody here really gets paid to help, and that's how I ended up here, where I'm at now, working where I work. Because before that, it was like I do a lot of things myself. I work well with others, but I still prefer to be alone. And when I got here, I realized everybody here is here to help me. So that's when I started going, and I met all of the, what are they called, the people in charge of all the departments, the head of all of the departments. I met all of them. I know the financial aid. My mom knows all the financial aid. She goes up here.
Yes, she does, yeah.
And it's just like, with that, and when I learned that, it's like, okay, so what do I want to do? Because we're in college, I mean, I'm sure y'all been in this world where it's like, I got here, and it was like, okay, what now? I said my whole life, I want to be this, but now, I got to stand on it. Like now I have to really decide who I am and who I want to be. And for me, I'm coming from Baltimore. I always wanted to go to Morgan. That was my dream school. And it was like, I don't know, like they just, I got accepted, but it was too late. And I applied to over like 30 schools.
For real?
Because Common App was going crazy. And I got into every school except for Howard, which is why they would never, like I never give them any bump on here. Just because they lost out on the grade.
No, we
don't even got people out. They know.
They know the smoke.
They know the he like this is the third episode. Wow.
Yeah.
No, you gotta just let Charity talk.
I know, but absolutely
go crazy on Howard. Talk to her about HU.
Exactly, she's a real HU. And
I gotta say it.
Exactly.
The street stuff.
But yeah, so it was like that was a big thing for me. And just getting here, and that's also why I'm in this position now. It's like, all right, I want to meet more people. You know, like as much as this is, I'm interviewing y'all. This is an interview for me. I'm definitely going to be applying to this a little bit.
Yeah, let's go.
Admagic.
Let's go.
Yeah, see, yes. Please plug this.
Cherry,
go ahead.
Yeah, talk to us about.
Talking about a Hamptonian woman.
Yes.
You know, they double down on
Wait,
it.
is that like
a Hamptonian woman and a Hamptonian man.
Because we're Lincoln.
Lincolnian this.
I did not know. It could be kissing. She's like, but yo, that's crazy.
Hey, man.
Hamptonian woman.
Yeah,
She
Hamptonian
says
woman.
Hamptonian, but Lincoln.
That's crazy, right? Yo, I just never heard this. I didn't know I was that.
No, I think everything is interesting to hear that there's so many things that are just consistent about being at HBCU. Like you get polished, you learn how to network, you learn who you are. I think for me, it was the time where it was like the action portion of it. So I had learned so many things in my home with my family. I have an older sister who's just only 18 months older than me. So I had a very clear stepping stone of like how my life was going. And so being at Hampton, it was just me. It was my decisions. There was no one else around me. So it was more of just like doing, becoming myself. It was definitely a culture shock. There was a lot of tears shed on multiple occasions, getting over stuff and being alone. But I mean, you adapt, and I think it was just like a huge growth point for me. It definitely made me who I am as far as like how I move, how I talk, what I stand on, what I believe in. Because I mean, you're in a lot of situations for the first time with people that you just met, and I think that you really evaluate or create or double down on what your morals are, what your moral compass is as you navigate through college. There's many situations that occur that you have to make a decision on. So yeah, I mean, and then at Hampton specifically, when that first week there and throughout the program, they really let you know what it means to be at Hampton, what it means to be a Hamptonian woman, how, you know, the standard of excellence, the illustriousness of it, and just like a little bit of what that responsibility is. Yeah, everybody did that shit. Basically, it is the illustrious image, though. It is the illustrious image. But yeah, it was a lot of that, and so I don't know. It was a lot of do, but as much as that, it was a lot of learn. It was a lot of learning.
Yeah, I can still see. I've never seen like a formal definition of Antonio woman. But what I hear you saying is like there has been a standard that's been established that they expect all of their student bodies to kind of live up to.
Yeah.
I could feel that in your work, in your presence. Like there's definitely like if you're gonna be around Cherry, you gotta be able. Like if you're gonna work with her, if you're gonna show up, you're gonna apply to Admagic. At Admagic, there's a
lot of area of growth that I allow around me as well. I allow people to show up as they already grow.
No, yeah, I think you get permission to fail harder, but not because of slacking.
Absolutely not.
No, yeah. Like you fail because of the ambition, not because of lack of.
Yeah. No, ask a question.
Even if you have a terrible take. You have to have conviction.
Have conviction. Yeah, you need to know why you're saying stuff. Have something to back it up.
That's right. I love that.
Can we get more into that, man? Like, cause y'all explain what it is. Can y'all? I feel like y'all will kind of breathe. What is Admagic in its entirety? What is that? I'm gonna close the book, but please.
Okay, I can start. Admagic is a program that it's a bit of a gift to myself and my peers. It is a program that is designed to alleviate the hurdles that lie between HBCU students and creative opportunities. And so how do we do that? We do that through providing intimate mentorship from Wieden and Kennedy leaders. That looks like. Based off of your application, our conversations with you, really deciding the right people in the different departments and our global offices who can be your support team. So each student receives 3 mentors, and that is your people throughout the entire program. You can use them however you see fit. We help you form a relationship with them and back and forth, but it is your relationship to design however you like. And so students share their resumes with them. They're invited to sit in on creative, reviews, however you'd like to use that, but this is your community throughout it. And then in addition to that, students on a weekly basis, they sit with our department. A couple people from our department in a casual conversation, and they understand what the department does, the skills that you need to succeed in them, and then overall why that person is in this department, why they may have left a different department and they are where they are now, but how this functions and what role it plays in the creative process. So it starts from brand management, the best department ever.
I don't know why you keep saying that.
I like it. It is. It's a fact. The best department, brand management, and then it ends with like PR. And so the students go through each one from strategy, creative. They bump into people like these 2 guys here. They run Bodega, they run it all. And so they get exposure into it weekly. And so each week, in addition to their mentors, they meet at least 5 additional people from different departments that they can also tap into, that they can also call upon, where it's like, hey, I heard this, let's learn more about it. And everyone at Wieden they love Admagic, and I'm very grateful for it, and they offer themselves up as resources as well. So a wealth of knowledge as far as access and resourcing that aspect. And then we end the program with a real client brief. So the students have an opportunity, based off of our relationships, to have a brief with one of our clients. We've done it with Old Spice, we've done it with Nike, and they get to present to them. They get to work in different teams. And then coming out of that, they have something to add to the portfolio. They have something that's tangible that they can say they did at Wieden and Kennedy, what they learned, and then so forth. So that's the structure of Admagic.
Yeah. Admagic is so dope. And listen, I know we're using the words Wieden and Kennedy a lot, but I'm also really aware that when I was a Lincoln University student, I had no idea what this organization was. So I'll just say, like, there were two creatives in Portland, Oregon, Dan Wieden, Wieden, and David Kennedy, who partnered up to produce advertisements for brands. The first client was Nike, and there would be no Nike without Wieden and Kennedy. There would be no Wieden and Kennedy without Nike. And so much so that Dan Wieden was a copywriter, and he wrote "Just Do It." He wrote that line. And so the significance of the agency is ridiculous. It is responsible for some of our favorite work, some of our favorite commercial work, some of our favorite culturally charged work. I could start naming campaigns that probably sound or feel familiar that we are directly responsible for. There's a LeBron workout right now that Wieden and Kennedy produced with Jason Momoa. It's called Find the Time. We did Nike Yarders. We produced Serena Williams' retirement campaign. I'm using air quotes. McDonald's Famous Orders, Travis Scott, Sweetie, Cactus Plant Flea Market. We reintroduced the Ford Bronco. Like Mars Blackman, Spike and Mike, Little Penny we're responsible for. Charles Barkley once famously said, "I am not a role model." Somebody at Wieden and Kennedy wrote that line. Like, these moments are ridiculously influential,
Hitters.
famous. There's a famous commercial called Nike Freestyle where these street ball players and NBA players are dribbling the basketball, creating beats with the dribbles, and the beats by like African Lambada and shit like that. We made that work. And as an agency, we don't talk enough about ourselves. And it's wild to not do that because there are so many people who don't know who we are. And I think it's really important for this community that we're speaking to right now to know exactly who we are. So as an Admagic student, you're coming through a system or an agency like that, spending time in an agency like that, and maybe even still being a student, is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's like we are like the most pristine advertising agency in the world. So for you to come through that system, it's almost like being stamped, verified, and you can take that verification into any other run. And sorry, this is just me talking my shit a little bit about Wieden because we don't do it enough. Because advertising is such a behind the curtain industry. Mm-hmm. We do all of our work on behalf of other brands and voices. And so we don't ever really get a chance to say, no, we did that and put our name on our work. But it's time to start putting our name on our work. Because if we don't do that, then people who look like us and come from where we come from don't even know to be interested in what we do, which is what makes Admagic so important.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that I'm sitting next to people who helped make like things that were part of my childhood and things that I've seen.
Bro, goddamn, you just gotta make us feel like
I'm not even like that. But it's like, you know, the people behind the curtain. You know, I don't ever think that these would be the faces of the people who were really making it. And you know, and that's what I find that amazing.
No, honestly, thank you for having us. I find it amazing that Lincoln is even interested in a program like this. Hampton interested in a program. North Carolina A&T. The more colorful the rooms are that are responsible for this work, the better the work is.
Yeah, and I believe in your guys' PowerPoint, y'all pulled up that it's like $1 trillion.
That's black spending.
That's black spending.
That's actually how big that 1.6.
Yeah,
fact check is the ANC. But again, I think that's not anything new, right? Like, black people are the largest consumers,
but it was only 5% of it.
That's what
in the rooms where it happened.
Exactly. But that's mainly like And again, I think us being products of HBCUs, we can speak to it a bit differently because there are pipelines different. They're just not for us, right? Like there's math school, SCAD, Listen Chapel Hill. Like there's a lot of programs that gear you up and kind of push you through advertising. So for me, Admagic is like something that I wish I had. So when Cherry called, he was like, yo, can you like help me think through things? Or like I kind of want to go into a course. Because this is something that like we all went through. Some of us stumbled, right? And a lot of us took a lot of bumps and bruises to get where we are now. But to have a program like this that kind of alleviates that's game changing. Game changing. And even if you decide to come through there and you don't want to do advertising or why it's not, that's cool too. But being able to just like say that you have that on your resume, it's crazy. It's almost like saying, I went to Harvard. Like in the marketing communication space, in the marketing communication space, it's a stamp that like, you know, it speaks for you.
That's right.
Because being successful here means something totally different.
That's right.
Like you have to operate at a different level. And Admagic actually like it preps you for that. And then what I think one of the most important pieces that we probably don't talk enough about is the accessibility. Like sitting next to the youngest and first ever Black BCD. You're gonna get time with him. Like that's crazy.
As well.
You know what I'm saying? Like being able to like actually see executives and speak to executives. They don't just look like us, let's be honest. Because not every room we walk into looks like us. We're trying to change that. But being able to just have that time and like pick their brain, work on, have them critique your work. That's powerful. You know what I'm saying? So like for us to be able to help foster that in any ways, it's just important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just so crazy, and it's so surreal to like be in those rooms and like contribute. You know,
Would be the big dog in those.
I should just say influential, because like the agency is influential enough. It's not just like us representing Wieden and Kennedy right now. The organization is at least 1,500 people large, and so these big brands who speak to billions and billions of people every day are depending on us to craft those messages. And that just, like when you think about the role and that dynamic, it's super surreal. Like we can, from Southwest Philly, bro. Like,
You ever think you would make it where you at now?
Say it again?
Back then. You talk to you then, you think you were where you at.
No. Don't even know the role exists. Like, and that's exactly the point of the time that we're spending today. Like, you don't even know to dream to be in a role like this, which is a pretty dope role.
I mean, it's surreal to even be here. Like the fact that we're even on a tour right now, and like coming out of an HBCU and just looking at like, I remember my first agency, you know, it took forever to even get into advertising, and then once I got there, I was like, there's 2 other Black people here.
Wow.
Like that's it.
It was IHOP, Kaiser Permanente.
Come on, you know it.
I don't remember most.
No, it was wild. And so my first agency, I was thirsty to be around people that were like of the culture. Like I was in there. I remember my first agency it was when Black Panther first came out, and I was just like, you know what we gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna just I underestimated the number. I'm always underestimating that kind of stuff. And I was like, let's just bring 50 students here, and then we'll just do like a panel. It was basically a mini Admagic. I was like, let me get everybody from a department on a panel at this time, and then we'll walk across, go see the movie. I had our design team edit their faces into the Black Panther posters. I was like, this is gonna be their goodbye poster. They're gonna be so happy about this. I was on the bus passing them out. I was feeling like how should I was in. Oh my gosh,
She killed it.
But they were in there hyped about, you know, there's dogs in the office, and there was this, and there was that, and they had assignments. They were in there talking about it. But it's just like, I don't know, I've always just wanted to feel that more in a space, especially when you talk about Black culture so much. And they look at you in a room and they say, what do you think about this? I'm like, can there be at least 3 other people here to have a conversation, to add to it, to design it? But when you look at a full department and there's no one of culture in there, like that's the issue.
Yeah, that's problematic. It just means you're gonna not make work that is empathetic, really. You know, like, you're just going to be talking to yourself. Because brands ask us to come up with ideas. And if there's no one in there to understand what's going on around them and, like, what specific communities are placing value on, the language they're using, the customs they subscribe to, like, if they don't even know, they're like, oh no, Jiho is the greatest homecoming on earth. And it happens at North Carolina too. Or they don't know, like, you know, and I'm not saying it has to always be about Black culture. I will say Black culture is the most influential culture, but just to, you cannot have a narrow-minded room. It has to be an open, super empathetic room with diverse backgrounds and perspectives to make the most responsible way. Because otherwise, that's a dangerous game to play. You're just projecting imagery, you're projecting stories, you're telling stories from a really singular space. And that just means you're probably offending someone. You're definitely discrediting some culture somewhere. You're not accounting for some conversation that exists somewhere. And that's irresponsible part of it.
I mean, to create, you need to be outside. Like, you have to be outside. You have to be connecting with different people, challenging yourself. It's not just about, like, how you pour into others, but it's also about, like, how you pour into yourself. Like, what is it that you're consuming on a daily basis that's adding to your creativity, that's adding to your point of view and your knowledge? But it's like, if you're only in a very singular place, if you spend all your time on this one thing, if you're not reading, if you're not talking to people of other cultures, if you're not aware of what's going on in the world, your point of view is very straightforward. And that's the type of work you create. That's the way you judge work. And you don't have a landscape to really look at stuff of another culture. I mean, we do work in all around the world. So to be in Tokyo and do work in a different language, a different culture, and to make it good work is a lot of layers you got to get to as a marketer, as a creative, or anything to get to that level to be able to do that.
We can keep going. Yo, like,
I mean, y'all ran most of this by yourselves, and y'all answered a lot of the questions.
I know you just go.
And then I definitely, you definitely can easily pick up some things by each other. Yeah, so y'all working together really build that.
Thank you.
And really proud. I hope y'all continue to expand that, and hopefully, if somebody hires me, I get to be a part of that.
Well, if we hire you, who's gonna executive produce all the podcast?
Me.
You're gonna do it all.
I run a very tight ship.
Hey, let's
Extremely ambitious. I love it.
Yeah, I love that. Yo, bro, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
We appreciate the invite. And
yes, I really appreciate y'all coming and being able to speak, really show what y'all do and what we are able to.
100%
together. It was fun in Lincoln all day. Good time.
I'm never gonna lie, Lincoln is fire.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh yeah, let's go.
I didn't know Lincoln was going not like that at all.
I've only been saying it since I met him.
I mean, listen, Dickie, if anybody knows Dickie, he's very passionate about the things he's passionate about. Lincoln is probably number 3 on the list of things that he's passionate about. And the way that he goes for Lincoln is kind of crazy. And we all have our HBC prize, or some of it's just kind of like, whatever. Yeah. But Lincoln is actually pretty dope.
Yeah.
Really dope to the hype.
Forgotten about. It's tucked in that corner.
In Mushroom Capital World.
Mushroom Capital World.
But
then once you get here,
piece of that, too, there's a lot of Lincoln cats that be here.
Yeah.
5 first year.
Yeah, they show up.
9 second year.
Yo, really proud of how Lincoln shows up.
Lincoln.
Yeah. All the third year. So thank you so much for having us too, Chen. Thank you for having Lincoln.
It was only right. I mean, when I did Admagic, you was like, "Yo, Kyrah, what?"
There's no way in hell this is happening.
What is happening right here?
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, put it on."
Yeah, let's do it. She's like, "Yeah, do it." She's like, "Yeah, can you get them?" I'm like, say no more. Leave it with me.
No, it's been great. Yeah, year 3, we up. Sled, we'll be back next year around homecoming.
Absolutely.
Next year around homecoming.
See us again. Thank you again, bro. Shout out to Black Caliber. Yo, keep doing your things.
this is the Black Caliber.
Can you say it like a different voice?
Distinction. Go ahead. You say it then. I'm not gonna lie. You have the radio voice. Go ahead.
This is the Black Caliber.
Distinction at its finest.
Distinction at its finest.
Oh my God. Chris just gave him a job.
Distinction.
Yo.